Hello, my name is Oleynik, and today my speech will be about my graduation. Aaron Paconvinci once said that graduation is only a concept. In real life, every day you graduate. Graduation is a process that goes on until the rest of your life, until the last day of your life. If you can grasp that, you'll make a difference. In high school, everything is pretty simple, even if you don't feel it at that moment. You are kind of sheltered from the rest of the world. You can make some of your own decisions, but your parents will always be there to have your back if you fall. For me, graduation was a life-changing experience, and I'm glad I enjoyed the last few years before I was let out into the big world. Ever since I could remember, I always wanted to grow up. My elementary years passed by with a blur. I looked at a lot of older students with envy, wishing I was their age. I'm the type of person who is never in the present but always looking towards the future. My elementary years, I looked forward to my junior high years. My junior high years, I looked forward to my high school years. My high school years, I looked forward to my senior year. Once I got to my senior year, I became sad that I was actually graduating. That is probably the only part in my life that I wanted to stay in the present and not move on to the future. I loved my senior year. It was everything I had ever imagined. I went to a small school, so the administration wasn't as strict as it normally would be at a big school. Teachers were lenient, students feared us, and we had less classes. And for that year, we were the big dogs. It was exactly how I expected it to be. I guess you could say that I was living up to being a senior. I'd always tried to be the best I can be. I always wanted to live up to my potential. I was involved in as many activities as I could be. I wanted to make my high school year memorable, and I really did. Being involved in many organizations helps a person overcome their fears if they have any. Organizations also help people find out what they like, what they don't like, what they're good at, what they need improvement on. I can go on all day. There are many things that can help a person. Being involved also improves social skills. A person learns a lot how to be better with all sorts of different type of people. It's never a bad thing to want to be more involved. Unfortunately, being a senior had to end sooner or later. The last event that came with being a senior was graduation. I had been planning this day over and over in my head, and I still couldn't believe that it was here. There was so much to do. Invitations had to be sent, senior events had to be attended, resumes had to be written, and scholarships had to be completed. And most of all, farewells had to be made. It was a very happy and emotional time for me. It was hard for me to grasp the idea that I wouldn't be with the same people day after day. I wouldn't see my friends or my teammates from my basketball team nearly as much as I used to. We were like a family, so it was really hard to say goodbye. Every single time I would hug someone and tears would come, I would always say, as Dr. Seuss once said, "Remember me and smile, for it's better to forget than to remember me and cry." The people I went to high school with will always have a place in my heart. They helped me become who I am today. All the activities, organizations, and events I attended to helped me become a strong, confident woman. Because of my determination and hard work, I was at the top of my class. I needed to write a speech for graduation as a last farewell. I was so nervous on what to write because not only would my class, but the entire school and their friends and family members of my fellow classmates would be there. I wanted to inspire my classmates to be the best that they can be after they graduate. Graduation was the end of our childhood and the beginning of our adulthood. I was excited to start a new life at a new place with new people. It was scary but exciting at the same time. I'm sure that there are a lot of people that felt the same thing I did. Everyone wants to start over after they graduate. We have a new slate and can be whoever we want to be. We can write our own story. As Karl Barth said, though no one can go back and make a new start, anyone can start from now and make a brand new ending. The day of my graduation was nerve-wracking. I had to make sure I was well practiced for my speech. I didn't want to go out on stage and completely choke. And besides, I wanted to leave a last memorable impression of me to my fellow classmates. Once I drove up to school on the day of my graduation, I had all sorts of butterflies in my stomach. I really couldn't believe that the day had finally come. The moment I was walking down in front of everybody wearing my cap and gown was the moment that it hit me that I was actually graduating. When we all finally walked, we had our rewards and scholarships all handed out to us. Our guest speaker was actually interesting this time, unlike all the other times I heard him, probably because it wasn't my graduation and it was somebody else's. I am sitting there knowing that my name is going to be called any minute, and it seemed like that moment took forever, but finally my name was called. I like to say that I said my speech pretty good, better than how I thought I would say it. My constant practicing finally paid off. I remember my freshman year, I told myself that I would never get over my stage fright. I used to be scared to talk in front of a class, maybe of 15. I would read with a stutter, shaky hands, and always had sweaty palms. My friends would always laugh at me for it. I did come a long way at my graduation, and I was ready for whatever life was willing to throw at me. And for my last quote of the day, as Moms Mabley once said, life is like a game of poker. If you don't put any in the pot, there won't be any to take out.